Hello, welcome. My name is Eric Bryant, and today I'm excited to interview Craig Gross. Craig, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I have watched your work from afar. You're an entrepreneur, all sorts of projects. It seems like you're in the middle of triplexchurch.com, iParent. You're also an author. You have a new book out called Go Small. We have a mutual friend that's here at Gateway Church in Austin, Benjamin Sledge, that teams with you with Heart Support. Uh, just tell us a little bit about some of the things you're working on now that you're excited about.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the new book's called Go Small. Quite different for me to write a book like this. Talking about it's kind of celebrating the little things, and I think I've spent a lot of times, kind of chasing the big thing, and I think a lot of us can relate with that, and at times it gets exhausting. Just when you think you've hit something big, you look around the corner, and it's hard to compete with the mindset of go big or go big or go home. So this book was kind of came out of a season of my life where I got sick. I ran into basically a bunch of walls where I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And a buddy of mine said, "Hey, Craig, why don't you've tried every doctor, every specialist. What about John 10:10? The idea of you must decrease so I can increase." And I didn't like that at all. Stopped speaking, stopped traveling, stopped a lot of things, and because I think I believed and I bought into that mindset of like I'm needed. And this friend of mine said, "Hey, your ministry will be fine without you. Guys like you just think you're needed all the time when in reality, let some other people serve, let some other people step up." So all that to say is like, yeah, friends that know me go, wait, you wrote this book?" And yeah, I mean, it wasn't even my idea to write the book, but I think I learned a lot through it that a year later, because books takes forever to come out, I'm feeling a lot better. And so you do all these interviews for books, and now you're like, oh, okay, I got to read it again to see what I wrote. And I
Yeah.
think it's just been a good reminder to me as I'm healthy, to not kind of forget some of those things that I was learning through that season of life.
Yeah, I really appreciated your book, and you really did go big. I mean, when Triple X Church was really trying to introduce to people of faith the real problem of pornography and the challenges that it wages on our soul, and really being a part of human trafficking, just helping people connect the dots. That this doesn't, this isn't something we should hide. This is something we should overcome. You did have a more audacious style of kind of getting the word out. And now in this book, you're talking about, one of the chapters is look at me, and you're going against kind of that same mentality. Do you think this is just part of your journey, or do you even think someone who's just getting started could even take this book and say, you know what, maybe I don't have to be as audacious?
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, a lot of that's just in my nature. We're never gonna fit in exactly. I think just me personally, or just even what we do with Triple X Church. I mean, we're talking about an issue that everybody else is talking about, but we're putting a different slant on it. So it's in a sense, you've got to stand out. You've got to make some noise. So I'm still all about all that. But I think when it comes to you know at times a lot of people are going, hey, I can't start a ministry, I can't start a movement, I can't cure cancer, I can't do that. And then I think we just, if we can't find a solution, or if we can't start something big, we just go, man, I don't want to do anything. And I look at people giving up their birthdays for charity water, so people can have clean water. I love football, so watching all these athletes and all the pink that you see in the NFL, I mean, that raises a huge awareness about breast cancer and just the idea of wearing pink. And so some of those things that I think we see, realizing kind of little things matter. And so it's not just, hey, you have to go do this really big thing. What about the little things? And I think some of the things in my personal life where I had another friend, I was sitting there doing a bunch of interviews one day, and we were on this show for ABC, and anyways, we were running around, and they kept telling us how many people are going to watch this. It's going to impact, millions of people, blah, blah, blah. And, I had to go, and because I had to coach my daughter's soccer team. And my buddy said to me, he says, Craig, that's the most important thing you'll do all day. Who cares about, ABC? Who cares about the millions of people? You're kid's going to remember that, 10 years from now, that you took time, that you were there at practice. But once again, I know so many people, it's like they're never home. They're always working. You're doing this. And it's like you don't have time to just go, well, what would be something I could do, that would have a greater impact. But yeah, it's not this, huge thing, but maybe life's made up of a bunch of little moments instead of just like one or two big moments here and there.
Well, and I think that's why I so appreciated your book and the approach is it feels like a more sustainable kind of lifetime of impact instead of so many people, and you and I have been around long enough now to see people who get going so fast and so hard and then they burn out and they're not even sure if they still believe in their cause anymore. And so I really appreciated your kind of call to do the small things really, really well. Are there other things from the book that you hope people gather and apply to their life?
I mean, I think for me, the idea of like slowing down, like you just said, I love this guy. I love his books. I think he's phenomenal, Gary Vee. But like, I unfollowed him on Instagram or Twitter. I just got so annoyed with him because every tweet or post is like, I'm on the go again, and I'm running hard, and I'm like, no sleep. And it's like, there was a season in my life where it's like, I looked up to those guys, and I go, man, that's awesome. Now I'm like, dude, go home. Like, take a break. You're worth millions of dollars, and like go see your family. But it was just like, I don't even want that noise in my inbox or in my feeds now, because I'm like, there's only so much you can do this for, and at what point is enough? And so I think for me, when you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And so I think guys like me, especially, we're not going to slow down on our own. It's going to take something, happening in your life or people speaking in your lives to get you to realize that. But I think just that exercise of slowing down. I was at the Chicago airport, and if you've been there, that terminal between B and C where you're underground, and there's all that noise. I don't know why they create more noise in an airport, but there's the moving walkway forever, and there's all these lights. I had my headphones on, so I had like 2 hours. I've been in that airport so many times. First time I ever did it, I walked on the moving walkway, and I was on the left side where you stand. That's the proper, and the right side you walk. And both moving walkways, I didn't even move. I thought, why would I walk? Like, I'm gonna let this thing walk for me. And everyone's passing by me, rolling over with suitcases, rolling over my leg, kind of annoyed at me. And I'm like, it took everything in me to not walk and just stop and just let this do all that work for me. And I think just kind of that same way in life. I go, it's not in a lot of our natures to just slow down. And I'm not talking about being lazy, like playing video Madden all day, and but I think there's a rest, finding a day at least that you could slow down, or finding a season where, finding kind of those rhythms in your life where you go, man, I'm going to go hard for a while, and then I got to slow down. Otherwise, I do think it's just, you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to be able to give completely what you're supposed to. And long term, I don't think that's a strategy. I look at guys like, once again, making fun of Gary Vee, but I'm like, man, let me see how bad you look in like 3 years, and you can't keep that pace, and I just don't think we're supposed to.
Well, and I appreciate again that message. This is living life to the fullest, and sometimes that's just standing there and enjoying the scenery, but also you're not slowing down in terms of making an impact. But it feels like there's a real call to, like you say, go small. Tell us a little bit about iParent. That's another project I know you're working on.
Yeah, I mean, so we started Triple X Church. We started, X3 Watch, and been in that space for a while. I was a youth pastor at a church prior to all this, so I think it still goes back to, like, kids was the reason we started all this. And I think the shift for me is, I've got an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old now, so to me it's not about your kids, it's about my kids. So the biggest thing I've seen beyond porn is just how this next generation is using technology and how clueless parents still are. And so we started this site called iParent.tv, and I mean, the best way to explain it is like Plugged In is a great resource of Focus on the Family. Like I know people have whatever to say about Focus, and sure, but when you go to Plugged In, it's a great site. You know, if my kid wants to see a movie, he can't go to a movie on his own, so it's like, hey, the new, you know, superhero movie, you can go on Plugged In and read a review, and you're gonna know exactly what you're gonna walk into at the movie. Is there sex? Is there profanity? And then, you know, you can kind of decide. So right now, at my son's age, it's like that PG-13 stuff. Okay, you know, it gives me kind of a good idea. Well, that's great and all, and I think it's a great resource. What I found, though, is like kids, when it comes to technology, when it comes to apps, when it comes to websites, when it comes to devices, gaming systems, all that kind of stuff that kids are on a lot more than, you know, walking into a movie theater, parents are clueless. They think Snapchat's a game with a ghost, and they have no idea what their kids are doing, or even how, you know, kids are way smarter than their parents when it comes to these devices. So what we decided to do was just, you know, this idea of parenting is hard, tech doesn't have to be. So the categories, social media, devices, web, and apps, we started with about 115 of the latest kind of greatest things out there that kids are on. And we're not going to tell you how to parent. We're going to just tell you what these devices and these apps really do. So kids are sending pictures of the, you know, their penises or their boobs on Snapchat. That's what they're doing. And if you want your kid to be on Snapchat, here's what you should look out for. If you don't want them to be on Snapchat, here's some information so you can make an informed decision. So what we're trying to do is help parents make informed decisions and be smart. Not give your kid an iPhone 6 and then 3 months from now call me and go, hey, how do I disable Safari and, you know, find out what my kids are doing online. So, man, we're excited about it. We're I think it's just I mean, I don't get a lot of parents today how and why we're giving kids access to this stuff, and we're not clued in ourselves. But yeah, so we're running after that. I mean, it's stories every day that we're hearing. I think not just frighten us, but just you know, I got an email the other day from a parent of a 9-year-old girl that they found watching pornography on her iPad, and you know, just this girl believes in Santa Claus. I got a friend of mine whose kid was 6 years old, and it was on Netflix, and he saw all the different videos that his kid had watched on Netflix: Clifford, Cars, American Virgins, American Pie, and right there on a screen. And you know, and then went to iParent and realized, you know, kind of how you can control the parental settings on Netflix. So we're trying to get parents not having to learn the hard way, but just take some effort, take some time, read the stuff before you give your kids complete control of this stuff. And so yeah, it's iParent.tv.
That's perfect. Well, I really appreciate all that you're doing, Craig, and to help not only parents, to help kids, to help teenagers really not be derailed by the things that can be so destructive in life. So thanks for what you do with XXXChurch.com, with Heart Support, with iParent, and now your book, Go Small. Thank you so much for all you do, and really grateful through ericbryant.org. You've given away 5 copies through our newsletter. Just really grateful to you and your publisher for that.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for talking to me.
All right, enjoy the day.
All right, thanks, man. All right.
Bye-bye.